Hi, I'm McCord and welcome to The Real Deal on TheStir.com. Today we've got episode 4 of season 6 of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 9, episode 16 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is the finale of their vacation to Thailand. And as a special treat, the premiere of The Real Housewives of What Was Bravo Thinking? I mean, Melbourne. And that's not a slight against the ladies of Melbourne, but we'll get to them. First, let's talk New Jersey. It is clear to me that Amber Marchese and her husband Jim are the villains of the season. But it's not only their own behavior. Before we even get to the fight, let's talk about how they are being helped along by helpfully malicious editing. Early on, the Marchese family films a commercial for the mortgage business. Now, cut to interviews where Jim says he hates what he does. He's only doing it to provide for his family. He would rather be a writer, and he has 3 unpublished books. Yikes. Okay, viewers, do you want anyone who hates what they do for a living anywhere near your personal finances? Of course not. With this rookie mistake, Jim could torpedo his business because people who hate what they do are generally not good at it, or they get distracted and start making sloppy mistakes. And believe me, shooting a reality television show is a huge distraction. I don't think this is going to end well for Jim, particularly because his government clients are already publicly distancing themselves from him. This is the first time all season that I felt the series might actually be okay without Teresa and Joe Giudice. We see a little flashback footage of Teresa saying she's now trying to control her temper, which is obviously an editorial excuse for why she is stepping back and out of the fray this season. But with Nicole, Teresa, and Amber starting World War III, I don't know that we even need them. At a costume party, Nicole and Teresa waste no time in getting every other player, Melissa, Kathy, Rosie, Dina, all on their side against Amber. And production would have made sure that Amber arrived last into the hornet's nest. Then, things devolved fast. The hair pulling happened so quickly I could barely see it. But do you know what that means? That means it was real. If you're faking a fight, you do it at half speed or 3/4 speed so the cameras can catch everything. If you're really punching someone, it happens so fast that the witnesses aren't even sure what they saw. Hair extensions are yanked and beverages are thrown, and it all ends with the men sizing each other up with further bloodshed to be teased in the previews for next week. Amber is also a newbie and didn't realize or didn't remember that the producers can always flash back to footage to prove you a liar. One minute she insists that she never said Nicole broke up a family. The next minute they flash right back to her saying exactly that. Now, what we don't know is whether producers edited or doctored that initial conversation with Melissa in the car to stitch her up and frame Amber for calling Nicole a homewrecker. But either way, the producers have now made Amber look guiltier of lying than they've made Teresa look guilty of fraud. And that is saying something. Next, let's go to Australia, shall we? Bravo has begun airing The Real Housewives of Melbourne in the States, but they buried episodes 1 and 2 on a Sunday afternoon from noon to 2 p.m. Very strange. Or is it? See, Bravo has a lot riding on the Real Housewives franchise. It's their biggest hit, and with all of their scandals, rating slumps, and viewer apathy, they want to protect the baby. Ladies of London was the first attempt to air an overseas city at home, even though it didn't carry the Housewives brand name. And while it wasn't a flop, it wasn't a huge hit either. Real Housewives of Vancouver has so far stayed in Canada and not flown south to visit us, so the Aussie ladies are the first foreign city to carry the Housewives name and air on U.S. televisions. And I'm thinking Bravo buried it on purpose with little fanfare and advertising, thinking that if it builds momentum, they can always move it to prime time. Thanks to the helpful analysts at BravoRatings.com, I learned that Bravo usually gets about 300,000 viewers at that time on Sunday. So if Melbourne does any better than that, it's a hit. I mean, the bar has been set so low, they almost dug a hole through the earth to Australia. So you might think that the network is being crazy, but I say they're being crafty. And it just might work. See, personally, I liked Ladies of London, but season 1 was full of nationalist nonsense of pitting Brits versus Americans, which killed many viewers' appetite for it. We don't like to see our own being eaten alive. But see, we don't have that problem with the Australian ladies, and we do have plenty of glitz, glamour, and over-the-top excess. I think Melbourne, in a way, is similar to Beverly Hills. See, in New York and plenty of other cities, Housewives has become almost impossible to cast because people with real money don't want to show it on television or subject themselves to the editing that goes along with it. Beverly Hills has never had that problem because almost everyone is either in the entertainment industry or next to it, and they are less afraid to get dirty and show off their money. Similarly, it seems that the ladies of Melbourne are so ecstatic to have a seat at the housewives' table that they will do or say anything, which is delicious. So let's dig in, shall we? Oh, and by the way, do you recognize this jewelry from my time as a Real Housewife? It is all by a Melbourne-trained designer. Now, there's a very interesting cast of characters, and I'm giving you my first impressions. Except for Lydia, for reasons I'll tell you in a minute, I haven't Googled anyone, and I've only seen episode 1, so this is my first impression read on everyone. You've got Gina the barrister, that's a trial attorney to you and me, who dresses like Joan Cusack's character from the 80s movie Working Girl, and is a self-described professional fighter. She comes across a little bit like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, practicing law, but that's fun to watch. Good casting. Next, there is Lydia, who at first glance seems like the rich one with the private plane, the perfect marriage, and the perfect life. Well, when I announced on Twitter that I would cover this series, Lydia was the one who sparked multiple messages about her possibly not being who she says she is. Now, I don't know anything about that, so I'm going to reserve judgment. However, there are some headlines already. Chica seems to be the mother hen, and watching her open her party invitations with her husband and discuss their businesses, I was reminded of kind of a mashup between Jill Zarin and Caroline Manzo. Now, whether she rumbles that way with the ladies or becomes more of a Vicki Gunvalson, we'll see. I don't have a good read on her yet. Janet, the blonde divorcee of a certain age, reminds me of Sonia Morgan before her financial crisis. Janet is the one who reminds us all that this series was originally made for Australian audiences, not US. Janet is so overly impressed with her getting her hair done 3 days a week and getting Botox, you kind of forget that outside New York and Beverly Hills, that's not a normal thing to do every day. Next, we have Andrea, spa owner and wife of a plastic surgeon. She reminds me of Jacqueline Larita from New Jersey, mired in the drama and simultaneously disgusted by it. I predict that Andrea is either going to have a meltdown, crack up, quit, or disengage and get herself fired. Are you seeing a pattern here? See, there's only one young cast member. Melbourne's age problem might be another reason why Bravo buried it, because they want to appeal to the 18 to 49 demographic, and to that end, they want characters in their 20s and 30s, not 40s and 50s. So, the one young one is Jackie, wife of Ben from the band Silverchair. And by the way, I don't know if it was Ben, but back in 2009, 2010, somebody from the band Silverchair used to send pretty disgusting tweets to the New York Housewives cast. And I only remember it because of the band, and I don't know whether that was Ben. But anyway, that's ancient history. Let's talk about Jackie. Jackie's profession makes her the perfect housewife. Why? She's a psychic who communicates with the other side. From a producer's perspective, that is reality TV gold. Why? She can stir the pot with absolute impunity. Now, I'm not going to get into whether Jackie's abilities are real or fake. For purposes of television, it doesn't matter. What matters is that she can literally say anything and get away with it because nobody can prove she's wrong. She can say that somebody's granny is in the room saying she's having an affair, he's about to be arrested, she's stealing clients. The possibilities are endless. Don't forget that on reality TV, producers can lead viewers to believe almost anything. Here's how. So, psychic makes an accusation. Now, you go into the editing bay and dig up any B-roll of the accused that you can help further the cause, anything that makes them look remotely suspicious. Next, you do interviews with the other cast, put words in their mouth, ask them leading questions, and all of this is geared toward incriminating your accused. And boom, you've created a scandal. Because the initial accusation came from dead people via a psychic, there's no proof. I predict that as long as Jackie manages to hang on to at least one friend, she's got a job for the life of the series. Finally today, over to E, where we've got the Kardashians who make their last mark on Thailand before returning to Los Angeles. There's a mix of obviously set up scenes and nice reality. For example, it was funny but ridiculous and unbelievable that the Jenner boys would go to a Thai boxing match showing pictures of Khloe to strangers trying to get her a date. On the other hand, when the Jenner sons ask their father Bruce about the state of his marriage, he calmly throws out a line that it's over, it's done, 3 strikes, you're out. It's so off the cuff that it feels really genuine. Ditto Khloe and one of the Jenner sisters accidentally blundering into a wedding and photobombing it. Clearly it wasn't meant to happen, nobody predicted it, but it just happened and the cameras caught it, and therefore it's genuine, it's magical. A lot of the meat of last night's episode centered around an orphanage, and while visiting, donating, and helping are all admirable things to do, it also bugged me. I didn't like the way it was handled. For example, in confessional interviews, Kendall talks about how great it is to be there and help out. But in the footage you see of her actually at the orphanage, she's not interacting with the kids. She's on her cell phone. She's taking selfies. Only Bruce and Kim seem to actually put down their electronic devices and get involved with the kids. And of course, this brings up a quandary for Kim. She's already conquered the cover of Vogue magazine, something no reality star has done before. So what's next? Now she wants to become Angelina Jolie and adopt orphans from foreign nations? I don't like the way the show handled it. While it's a legitimate point, I don't doubt that Kim actually felt drawn to the little girl and wanted to help her. In the real world, your next step would be to go talk to the orphanage. You wouldn't ask the hotel manager, even if he is involved in the foundation. The hotel manager can act as a concierge to get you a dinner reservation or book you a yacht. They don't get you a child to take home. I felt as though the producers and the family tried to do this sensitively, but they failed. To me, it came off incredibly narcissistic, like taking selfies in the monastery. Overall, I enjoyed the glamour and the beautiful views. I just wish that the Kardashians' ratio was closer to 50-50 on genuine moments versus engineered setups and not 20-80. But let me know what you thought in the comments. For now, I'm Alex McCord, and you're watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow.